play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombs Tastingo gonna find Rainer.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. Tonight we're going to catch a match between a couple of Division B East teams here in Boogan Squad and Tiny Dancers. We are just finishing up here. We've got one player from each team currently not in the lobby. Make it just one player from one team now. So very close to getting ready for this game. And so let's go ahead and take a look at what do our map bans look like. Make sure I have hit the update here. So we've got... All right, so from our team on the left, which is the Tiny Dancers, Braxis Holdout and Dragonshy were the bans. Boogan Squad banned out the Battlefield of Eternity and Towers of Doom. And Infernal Shrines was the selection of the Boogan Squad. That's going to be our first map of the night here. But you know what? Let's take a look. How are these teams doing in the standings so far? So we do have their... currently, Boogan Squad is sitting at number 7 with 3 points. Now, they've only played one match, so, you know, they're behind in points, but they're also behind in games. So not really necessarily down by that logic. Tiny Dancers sitting there currently with 4 points. They've completed, I believe, 2 games so far this season. Let's see. Tiny Dancers has, in fact, completed 2 games. So they had a... Oh, never mind. They had a forfeit victory over Phoenix Rising Ruby. I remember that, week 1. And then Party Time, they lost 2-1. Whereas Boogan Squad, they defeated 2-0 over Bread Rising Yeast Sports. All right, so there you go. Now you're all caught up. You know what's going on in Division B East. All right, let's see what we have here. Restarting comp. Okay, so one player is restarting their computer, and then we'll be set here in the near future, ready to go. Alrighty then, looks like we got our 5th player. Make sure that everybody's on the right sides and right teams. And we'll get the fun and excitement of jumping into a draft. Mantis is not... Mantis, you're not playing? You're just watching the show tonight? What's going on with that? We're not. Camp Villas, Dim Sum. He's Fishing Queen. All right. I think he's set the captain. Tell everybody what's going on here. Got demoted to a cheerleader. Oh no! Feels bad. Well, you know what? That's what you get for cutting off the head of your spouse and then eating it. I don't even know. I guess I don't know that much about mantises. Let's see. We've got Tiny Dancers ready to go. We've got Boogan Squad ready to go. Starting this up. Game number 1, Infernal Shrines between Tiny Dancers and the Boogan Squad. Taking a break this season, fair enough, that's fine, that's cool. We'll go through those times. I understand it. 100%. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 here on Infernal Shrines. Tiny Dancers, I believe they're a new team this season, but I believe they've actually played together. Maybe not in NGS, maybe it was NGS, maybe it was just in Heroes Lounge or something like that. But I believe they've actually played together in the past, and then, much like Mantis, took a break for a period of time there. Whereas Boogan Squad had won Division D, both sides. They were the grand champions here in Season 6. Last season performing, I believe, pretty well, I think, in Division C? I guess I'm not positive of that. And then ultimately now finding themselves in Division B, winning their first match last week against Red Rising East Sports. So overall, looking like a very strong team. They are, they've been well coordinated, and it's been fun to cast. So I think this is the first time I don't think I cast the I definitely didn't cast the Tiny Dancers game. So this is the first time that I've been able to cast the Tiny Dancers. Although our team, Phoenix, Regen Phoenix, has a little bit of a history with Feldroth, as Feldroth was part of our team last season, just simply as a sub. But we're going to see Malthael and Kel'Thuzad going to be the bans here so far. An early ban in on that Kel'Thuzad. Don't want anybody to pick that up. The follow-up mage ban here onto the Kael'thas. Boogan hype. Everybody here. Semi's in Div C. Gotcha. Yeah, I thought so. Everybody here for Boogan. Anybody out there here for our friends over at Tiny Dancers? Gotta show the love. Zul'jin gonna be the final ban. So, you know, I think every single game that I've cast so far, which, by the way, there are many, has had at least one, if not two, or three. What? Okay. Hey, Feldroth calling out, saying, hey, my team's interested. All right. Well, you know what? I'll put up a broadcast. See if we can get a few more people in here to watch this game. It's the only game going on. What's everybody doing? It's not like it's dinner time or something. Tiny Dancers versus Boogan Squad. All right, there we go. Yes, please take the Nova. Appropriate setup is that we follow the same bands. Bands picks as were selected. All right, there we go. Oof, rip dim indeed, Mantis. Rip dim. You guys target banning us much? Why? Just because it's Kel'Thuzad and Zul'jin? What could you possibly mean by that? All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a quick, let's go with a 60-second ad break. I'll do a 60-second ad break here while we wait on the player to return. That way anybody coming in doesn't have to deal with that. So 60 seconds, be right back.
much for us to settle.
All right, so there we go. We just got 20 minutes of ad-free intros for people coming in here. We do have our last player back. They're still saying that they're having some lag. So hopefully soon they'll work that out. Otherwise, they may need to work on getting us up because we are getting that 15-minute time here. But they're saying that they've got a few minutes. And you know what? I've got time. I've got a scrim at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna have some dogs that need some food soon, but whatever. Yeah, uh-oh, from Mantis. That's okay, no worries. Alright guys, let's have the slowest conversation ever with the 30-second delay here. So, we already saw the beginning of this draft. We saw the Malthael, the Kael'thas, the Kel'Thuzad, the Zul'jin. Those were the bands. Alarak was the first pick. It's Infernal Shrines. Where do you think this is going? What do you want to see? What do you see in response to the Alarak? What are your thoughts here? What combos well with the Alarak? What heroes do you want to see? Maybe since some of the players are here, maybe we'll see some of those. Calling it now. Somebody's gonna say Murky. Somebody's gonna say Cho'Gall. My day is going, it's going well so far, Lulu. Thank you for asking. Got to put a little bow on the D&D campaign that I've been playing in for the last couple of years. And ultimately ended in a nation state being created of tens of thousands of demons. So you'll love to see it. Still no Alice. Still no. Let's really pick the first bands apart, and unfortunately they have lots of time to think to counter me. Yeah, no doubt, Feldroth. No doubt. Upcam request. Well, you know what? Alpha looks pretty happy where she is, so I'm gonna leave Alpha alone. Alice, do you wanna come here? Hey, you wanna come up on the camera? You wanna give me a hug? Oh, that got her. Come here. Come here. There we go. Oh, almost making it. Here, you wanna come all the way up? Come on. I got you. There we go. All right. Say hi, everybody. This is Alice. She doesn't get a whole lot of camera time, but there you go. She's made it. There you go, huh? Are you gonna cast with me, Alice? Hey, Al is very jealous of this, guys. He's not happy. Hey, relax. Relax, buddy. Yeah, so this is my 60-pound lapdog. Fun times. Oh, that's a good idea, Lulu. So I just need you guys to tell us what the heroes that you're gonna pick are, so that we can, respond appropriately and give you feedback. the whole match text event. This is like a RP by text kind of thing where you just role play it out over email. Oh, hey, they're ready. All right, you're gonna have to get down. You know what? We can let you stay. Starting up. Here we go. Oh, she's not happy with Alice. She's like, what's going on? What's going on? This is my time. Hey, buddy. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They just want Alice's feedback for right now. All right, here we go. So we saw the Alarak in order. Where's my notepad? It was Malthael first. Then the Kel'Thuzad, Kael'thas, Zul'jin. And then the Alarak. Are you happy to be up here, Alice? Huh? You excited? You gonna provide some good feedback and commentary? There you go. There you go. Hey, relax. Do not bark. Nobody wants to hear that. All right, Alarak picked. We've got ourselves a draft. Hey. What comes up next? How do we stop the Alarak at this point? Can you look at the camera? Alice, over here. You're not providing very insightful feedback, Alice. All right, let's put you down. Because now I got to start writing down names. Oh, it's the Junkrat and Diablo. There you go. There you go, folks. There's the pup cam. All right, we're going to get the Garrosh and the Jaina. Now, I like this a lot. Hey, that's enough, guys. That's enough. Look what you guys started. Oh, my goodness. So Garrosh with the Alarak. Alarak's going to be able to... Hey. All right. 1 second. Hey, come here. Okay, chill. All right, so about all that. Ana gonna be the third ban here. So what I was trying to say was Alarak's gonna be able to pull people in, which Garrosh then will be able to throw them. And Jaina has the burst damage. So a lot of value there. And Diablo going into Garrosh, it's gonna put Bummernot in a little bit of a bummer place. Unless he gets that charge and then flip before Garrosh can throw him, and somehow they can kill Garrosh quickly. Gonna have to be very careful. Chromie gonna be the third and final ban here for the side of Tiny Dancers. We're gonna see Fishing Queen. Oh, I love the name association with Anduin. Because you can go fishing for players, right? And the best part is you always catch one, but sometimes they get away if they die on the way back. Dim Sum gonna be playing that Rainer. So no Jaina Rainer combo. Our final two picks here for the side of Tiny Dancers. What are we gonna see? See some Sonya fantastic on this map, and Stukov. So I really like this draft on the side of Tiny Dancers. I think it's got a lot of value. You got a lot of CC potential. You got self-sustain. I did the wrong player on the wrong heroes here. There we go. But don't worry, they're about to change on me, I bet. And the last is going to be the Artanis. I have no idea how Artanis plays into Sonya. He's got the shields, she's got the self-sustain healing. It's probably relatively balanced. The stun from Sonya isn't really going to stop Artanis's, stuff like it can a Chen. But, if Artanis goes into amateur opponent, he's got the ability to clear out the camps. Wow, 2,700 there for Elijah. One of few players that I've seen that has had a character level that's higher than my own. Getting close to 2,500 myself. Oh yeah. Poll. Let's see, manage poll. Who wins game number 1? Tiny Dancers or Boogan Squad? All right, let's put that poll up. Vote in chat. There should be a drop down above your chat window up there to the right. Who do you think's going to win this game? Do you think Boogan Squad's got it with their setup of Alarak and Garrosh, or do you think that the Tiny Dancers are going to be able to make it happen with some swapping and some consistent damage between that Rainer and Junkrat? Maybe getting some displacement from that Junkrat with those concussion mines. What do you think? Insta-win Tiny Dancers, says Lulu. No portrait synergy from Boogan Squad. All right, well, prepare yourselves for battle, heroes, as we're going into the Infernal Shrines. On the left, the home team, we've got Tiny Dancers. Materium on the Jaina. Lytle? We'll go with Lytle. Lydell. On the Stukov, Silver going to be playing the Garrosh Elijah on... Who the heck is that? Sonya? Feldroth on the Alaric. So yeah, I think Elijah's the Sonya. I'm going to throw Silver. On the right, we've got Boogan Squad. Dim Sum on the Rainer. Campbella's going to be playing the Junkrat. Bombernaut on the Diablo. And Fishing Queen on the Anduin. And Tompiece on Artanis. Alrighty, what do we got here? So we got the block talent for the Sonya. Artanis going into that amateur opponent. For our tanks, the Groundbreaker additional stun cooldown reduction there, and additional damage for his Groundbreaker stun there. Whereas Diablo going into that Soul Shield, so looking to try to survive against the Jaina Burst. I'll try to check what mount that is and see if I can't let you know once I see it. So the rotation's coming in here as we've got a 4... Oh, that's the... Yeah, that was like a year ago for the season rewards. It's a reindeer. There are a few different colors of them, I think. But anyways, so the rotation down now from Boogan Squad. So Jaina up in the mid lane clearing, but you know what? Leaving the XP on the table. Instead coming down, there's the pull in, but Garrosh getting knocked back. Oh my gosh. They're just bouncing all over the place. Rainer's knocking people around. Garrosh, Alarak, Junkrat, Diablo. There's a lot of movement on both of these teams. We do have the ace in the hole for Rainer, and Jaina going into the Frostbite. Is that level 1? Fingers of Frost. Frostbite's her base trait. Let's take a look at this, as it looks like right now we've got Boogan Squad heading to their siege camp to gather that, while Boogan Squad is working on their minions in the lanes. Yeah, I don't think you can get that one anymore there, Lulu. Now, let's see. This is actually going... That swap, it looked like they were trying to get the swap. Elijah's trying to heal up here. Both of them pretty low, though. Slight advantage now maybe to Artanis, as he does get the bigger shields. And Jaina taking Arcane Intellect, so she's going to have all of the mana in the world. As both teams now starting to look at this bottom camp. Alarak, rather, is going to get flipped and rooted, but there's no charge stun there from Diablo. No shadow charge. Heading back up top, let's check in on our solo laners. Tompiece still pretty low, of course, because he just has shields. He doesn't get the healing that the Sonya gets. Yikes. All right. The pups are back to being their calm, collected selves. One of them passed out next to me, the other across the room, and Alice now chewing on a bone. And meanwhile, for the teams here, Boogan Squad going to pick up their Shaman camp and send that out. There is a siege camp in mid lane, but this is a frozen Punisher, so this is an important one, especially early game, as this is probably the easiest one to net a fort out of. And so far, anyways, just about half time for Tiny Dancers. Alarak getting the two-man Discord strike there. But it's going to be Garrosh getting charged into the wall. He throws Diablo into the silence. Garrosh is very low here, does get the stun. But it's going to be First Blood, Rainer finishing off the War Chief. The former War Chief. Swap coming in onto Feldroth. The shadow charge in, the flip. Oh, but the telekinesis able to get Alarak just barely out, and it looks like Bummanot is the one who's falling low. Maybe not. I mean, he is falling low, but he's not going to die. Sonya instead going to be the one that falls, and that was so very close. And now Boogan Squad making their way onto the point. Well, they've already been here, but making their way toward equalizing the Shrine Defenders. And here we go. The flip there onto Diablo. Diablo going to get taken out, though. So 39, only one more, and there it is. So Boogan Squad is going to secure the Punisher. Garrosh potentially looking to see if he could catch any of these players, but with this Punisher coming out, does not want to get himself stunned in front of that wall. So he's going to go ahead and pull back, and they're going to work on this Punisher in front of the gate here. With it being a frozen Punisher, it does shut down the structures. So... And at level 4 here, Alarak going into the lightning build, charge lightning strike, lightning surge. There we go. Words are hard. So every time he hits a hero with the center part of that lightning surge, stacking up that damage. So a little bit different than we see after the ruthless momentum. We often see that. I don't remember what. Can we? I wonder if we can see their talents. Oh, we can. So we often see show of force here with this build, but not today. Garrosh is going to throw the Diablo out, given the opportunity for Feldroth there to finish capping that point and secure it. Level 8 on both sides here, so we've got our 7 talents. Now, the positive thing about that is that it never goes away. It doesn't go away if you die, whereas Show of Force, of course, has a cap of 20% and also goes away when you die, because it's all based on sadism. Now, rotation up here from Boogan Squad. They're going to catch Alarak. They're going to flip him. He's going to telekinesis his way out. The Chastise is going to miss. And so Feldroth will make it out safely. Also, Dirty Trickster? Yes, from Junkrat. So Junkrat's going to have that Suicide Vest as an option to drop here. Anytime he's stunned, rooted, or silenced? Stunned or rooted or damaged when he's under half health, he's going to drop that Suicide Vest. So a lot of potential damage coming out as the Diablo getting thrown, but charged right back out. And we see the retreat pings being called. And this is now level 10's coming up here soon for Tiny Dancers. Let's see, where's their XP coming from? So currently the hero XP slightly in favor of the Boogan Squad, as they have 2 to 1 on the kills. But minions really going over to the side of Tiny Dancers, and that's where a lot of this value is coming in here. So Boogan Squad's going to need to make sure that they're gathering that minion XP a little bit more so than they have been. Although level 10's here for both teams, the rotation in, they do see that this Shaman camp is being taken. So Light Bomb is going in. He got knocked away. I don't know if it was if the Light Bomb hit or not. There goes that Suicide Vest, and it's going to be Jaina just eating all of it. Sonya and Garrosh falling as well, and the Purifier Beam going out onto Stukov. Going to force Stukov away, but I think Diablo catches this. Never mind. Oh, he might catch Feldroth. Never mind. That's a telekinesis. Keeping him alive. And that swap. Yikes. If Alarak had any longer of a skirt, he would have been right in the middle of that team. And that is a great time for Boogan Squad to get a few kills, because now they're heading into this second shrine. But hey, you know what? What were those poll results? I didn't actually look at those. So 67% voting that Tiny Dancers is going to take this game. So we'll see. So far, pretty even. There go the Suicide Vest bombs. And here's a second round as Junkrat is going to fall. A lot of damage going on to the Garrosh thanks to that. So got to be careful about that. Apparently when you throw, that counts too. Good swap there. Tompiece getting that swap onto Elijah. Pulling Sonya in toward the towers. And even with the, I think, was it 3 kills? Boogan Squad only got to 9, and so they're already behind now on the Shrine Defenders. So there you go. 4 kills to 5 right now. And it looks like this Mortar Punisher may be going over to the side of Tiny Dancers this time. Jaina now finishing her Fingers of Frost. Is going to have that 10% additional chill damage. And what does she take at 7 here? Ice Flows, so increasing the width of the Cone of Cold. And also reducing the cooldown every time she hits a hero. So gonna get the silence and the taunt onto Diablo, but the Leap of Faith pulling him back. Mortar's nearly landing, but the Ring of Frost going out, and you know what? It did damage the fort. That's what we're going for. That Leap of Faith pulling Diablo out, likely saving the day there. Real quick, just want to check up down here if Elijah has any knowledge of what's going on here, and it does look like it. Well, guys, I would love to watch that as Sonya popping Wrath of the Berserker. Bummernot's getting bounced all over the place. Does get the Light Bomb. Junkrat popping that Rip Tire. Silver getting low, but the Flailing Swipe is going to allow for the disengage there, as Jaina also following. So 2 kills for none, as Sonya was able to pick this up. Tom Piece so very low. Wrath of the Berserker doing so much work there, getting the additional healing and keeping Sonya healthy here. But in the 4-man, getting those 2 kills puts Boogan squad in a position that they can rotate down here and grab this siege camp. They have probably just enough time to get this if they commit to it. Danger Ping's calling. Sonya knows they're there. She's like, hey. And important to note that trap does not silence. So did Sonya take the whirlwind thing that gets her out? I think she did. Yeah, so I mean, she could just eat that and whirlwind and be fine, but ultimately still not something you just want to dive into, especially with a Diablo right up in your grill there. So they will get the successful camp invade, and the teams now at this point, even pretty much in every way on the XP standings here, 1 fort down so far in favor of Tiny Dancers. So it's been a pretty even match overall, I would think. Both sides ultimately able to pick up some kills here. So that being said, it's going to be bottom lane going down here, and with that, the Boogan squad recognizing that there's not a lot they can do, and to get that bottom, they're going to come up here and grab the siege camp. Now, that said, I think that they're probably just sure, maybe they're okay, maybe not. Maybe not. I thought that they were going to get caught there, but Garrosh going around behind them, not able to catch up. I think if he went in front, then that ends up being a 4-man taunt and potentially a couple of kills out of that. But it could just as equally have led to a dead Garrosh. So it's better for both teams to make it out just fine than it is for your Garrosh to be dead. So I think that's okay. But all the while here, Tom Piece in the bot lane able to now get a little bit of an XP advantage. Not a lot, just about a quarter of a level, but we'll see if they can make anything work with that. If they can get to that 16 a little bit faster, especially with this shrine coming up. There is a siege camp available for them very close by here, so they can grab this real quick before anybody on the side of Tiny Dancers can rotate in and deal with it. All right, shrine is activating. Should be an arcane. It is, in fact. And Junkrat setting up his traps to sniff out the enemy heroes when they come in. And of course, with the Jaina Blizzard, they're able to clear that up rather quickly. But there's still traps all over the place here, so no matter what, somebody's going to have to start grabbing these traps. And it looks like Garrosh is going to clear out one. He should have another trap relatively soon. And there it goes. So Danger Ping's calling it out. There's the Light Bomb going in. Hits 3. The APOC coming out as well. Gonna have the Counter-Strike. But Tompi's getting rooted there. It's gonna be a dead Artanis, and followed up by the Diablo as well. The Purifier Beam chasing down the Alaric, but able to telekinesis on out of that. And it's gonna be level 16s coming up first for the side of Tiny Dancers. And it looks like 29 to 14 currently. Oh, the throw on goodbye, Anduin. Oh my goodness. Junkrat trying to see if he couldn't sneak somebody over that wall, but it's probably best that he didn't, because if he did, my guess is that Garrosh would have thrown him right into the team, and that would have been just another death there. But that's going to be the second Punisher of the game here, going over now to Tiny Dancers. Third one overall. We'll see what value they can get out of this. So we do have here the Numbing Blast. So any of those chilled targets that Jaina can hit, going to be rooted for a full second. And that Cone of Cold is a pretty wide range, so she can get a lot of people with that. Mid fort all the way down, so that's now 2 forts down here for the side of Tiny Dancers. Pushing on in toward this keep wall. Pretty healthy Punisher still as it jumps over the wall under the tanks. Alarak is going to pull in, but he's going to get booped over the wall. He can't quite make it over the wall here. Ring of Frost going out, and Tompi's just barely making it out there. Purifier Beam not going to be able to finish off the Alarak before the wall comes down, and the tower as well. Possibly even the other tower? Not quite. Minions taken out. Meanwhile, Sonya making the XP plays happen. Pushing on toward that level 20 and the additional value that level 20 brings. Definitely some different talents here out of the Garrosh. So we've got this Bloodthirst talent. So every time he auto attacks, that's a cooldown of 2 seconds. I think it's normally like 12 or 14 seconds. So that's pretty self-sustaining. No Indomitable. Let's see. This one here is the reduction of attack speed. So helpful on the Raynor and Artanis. There's the swap and the jump right into the Apocalypse there. Garrosh falling low, but Stukov keeping him alive with that pustule. Gonna see the Light Bomb getting smacked away by the Flailing Swipe. So no kills, no deaths here. We have the double up for Garrosh as well. Oh, they're coming in. They want somebody. Right now he's looking in deep in the back, but it's going to be Garrosh getting taken out. Alarak getting a double silence. Riptire coming in looking for some tasty targets, but it gets taken out, and instead, again, the front line, Diablo and Artanis being taken out. Purifier being chasing down the Stukov, but not able to get that kill. So what's this level 16? This is the hitting a hero with Groundbreaker stun and throwing them with Wrecking Ball within 3 seconds reduces its cooldown. So oftentimes you'll see Garrosh's use the Wrecking Ball, which is the throw first, and then they'll Groundbreaker so that the player is stunned. This talent instead reduces the cooldown of your throw if you throw somebody within a period of time of them being stunned. So it's a little bit of a backwards way of doing it from what you see happening most of the time. Diablo going into that Shadow Charge build, currently sitting at 1 stack on his quest. As the Shaman Camp picked up in the top lane here for Boogan Squad. Tiny Dancers making their way to the Shaman Camp now, as well as they just sent out their Siege Camp, and they're going to be level 20 here in a moment. So I'm interested to see what Garrosh looks to take at level 20 with this build. Is he going to take that cooldown reduction potential for Warlord's Challenge, or does he take the double throw? But now that level 20 is here, we're gonna find out. It is the double throw. Okay. And on top of that here, Jaina taking the additional chill, so she can slow heroes even more now. Boogan Squad looking for that level 20. They still have about 80% of that level to go, as once again a Frozen Punisher coming up, this time in the bot lane. This will be going into a keep. And so while the kill count is very similar and overall the XP is not that far off, the structure game is definitely going over to the side of Tiny Dancer. And that's not going to change with this Punisher. I mean, it's going to continue on as we see Boogan Squad coming up here, trying to at least get a fort, equalize this pressure in the top lane, get some occasional catapults onto the mix, and maybe try to gather some of this XP too, guys? Maybe? No? Just gonna leave all this XP here? That's unfortunate. I mean, I think this keep is likely dead if they don't have the 20s. And if they don't have 20s still, when that keep dies, it could be like a game-ending circumstance. But we will see if that was the right call here. The Punisher coming over, Bummer not getting pulled in, and now thrown. The Unstoppable, and there was that scenario I talked about earlier, where you fish, and you just you know, it gets away. So that keep is down. Level 20's here. And I don't know. This is not looking great for the Boogan squad. There's the damage coming out from Jaina. Riptire coming out as well. Tompy's falling low is going to fall. And Raynor getting thrown and stunned. And Eliza just says, I don't care about your Purifier Beam. I will stand in it. That's going to be game number 1 going over to Tiny Dancers. And look at how close they were to level 20. That is, for sure, a single minion wave. I think that them not gathering that minion wave made a huge difference in their success of that game. I think that if they had just simply caught that minion XP, then at least they have the opportunity to contest it. They're very close to getting level 20s at that point. They probably get it around the same time that the Punisher takes down the keep, and then they have the opportunity to defend. So unfortunate. It's unfortunate. They played a good game, just couldn't quite get the value that they needed to when they needed to get it. And that's oftentimes the difference between two teams is, you know, if you win a team fight, what is your next step? And you always have to have that next step. If this, then that. And if your if is if we lose the team fight, then what do we do? Well, I mean, you probably respawn in base, right? But if you win the team fight, what is your next step? And Tiny Dancers was able to win objectives. They were able to take structures down. They were able to do all those things each time they had a team fight. And so they won the game. That's how that went. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick 2-minute break. Put up an ad break here so that people coming in don't get those, I don't know, 15 or 30-second clips. That way we don't interrupt their opportunity to see what's taking place on the screen. So we can take this time now when we don't have anything too exciting to go over. And we'll be back here in 2 minutes.
There, if you're gonna get through the summer, you need stamina, you need strength, you need Darkest Finley's Bust Your Ass Workout. You want a beach body for the first time in your timid little life? Well, I got the toughest fitness program in the multiverse. But you cannot argue with results. I guarantee I can turn anybody into a rock-solid hero!
Looks like you need a timeout!
Attackers Finley, plus your and Attackers Finley are not responsible for damage inflicted by cannonballs, ghost pirates, enemy minions, garden terrors, web weavers, dragon knights, or immortals. Please consult the sport class to determine if plus is right for you. All sales final. As I was saying, I can transform any. Now listen, you know none of this is legally binding, right? Hell, it's about summertime.
Alrighty, welcome back. We are all set up on game number 2 here. So our next game is going to be on Volskaya Foundry. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the maps here. It sounds like we're getting ready here. As our first round here, the map bans. We had Tiny Dancers banning out Barax's Holdout and Dragonshire. Boogan Squad banned out the Battlefield of Eternity in Towers of Doom. Our first match there was on Infernal Shrines. That was picked and won. I'm sorry, that was picked by Boogan Squad, won by Tiny Dancers. Game number 2 here, Volskaya Foundry. And it's selected by the Boogan Squad. And we'll see how things go. First pick, going over to Tiny Dancers. Sticking with the Malthael ban. Let's see, so Anna, who was our last ban of the thing last game? Anybody remember who the third ban was for Tiny Dancers? Can't remember. Was it Chromie? I think it was Chromie. I'm gonna say it was Chromie. Yep, so far so similar. That looks a little different. Gonna get banned out. So you're rolling your dice. Which hero do you want to deal with? And in this case, it's going to be the Zul'jin. On Volskaya Foundry as well. So, yeah, the Kel'Thuzad I think would be very difficult here. Alarak can be as well. Everybody's in a nice, you know, defined area. They want to fight over those control points. So Alarak can get a lot of lightning surge stacks. He can displace you. He can do all kinds of terrifying things. And not to the surprise of anybody, I imagine, Johanna's the first pick, as well as Anna. And Anna's going to be really helpful. That really changes a lot about what Tiny Dancers now has to look at. Because that Anna grenade definitely going to help to negate the potential healing for Asonia. Also the Garrosh, right? I mean, Garrosh wants to heal. We saw that picked up in game number 1. Going heavily into the Bloodthirst talents. Last time they banned out the Ana here, so this is a little bit of a different setup. And there goes the Stukov, so yeah, I see that. Stukov as well also gets a lot of value on this map specifically. Control points. Nice defined area. The Anna Johanna. And this time they're going to get rid of the Orpheus, so okay. Interesting. I think Chromie can get a lot of value here, and especially with an Anna, so, you know, with them having banned it out last round, it wouldn't surprise me to see it coming up on this one with the draft that they have so far. But we'll see if they want to do that today. Not today. Dim Sum bringing in the Li Ming and Cassia going to be the pick. So leaning into that blind opportunity a little bit more. And then it'll be Tompies, the solo laner, left to select their hero. As we're going to see Lydell and Elijah, the 4th and 5th pick here. So we're still looking for a solo laner and a healer. Solo laner is going to be Arthas, and our healer going to be Lucio. So Speed Boostio coming in, helping out that Arthas and Garrosh. So this front line very slow and wanting to constantly walk at you. Going to be enabled by the Speed Boostio there. I like this a lot. I like Tiny Dancers, what they've got. They've got the movement speed. They've got the shield from Lucio potentially there. The disengage for the Into the Fray. Well, Into the Fray's banned here, so they can't use Into the Fray. What else do we got? Over on the other side here, so Li Ming's going to have to really play well on her targeting to make sure that she hits. There's not a lot of CC other than a Leoric and Tomb. Okay, I've got all that. But what do you guys think? Who do you think's going to win game number 2 here? There you go. Poll is posted in chat. Check right above your chat. You can get a little drop down. Select which team you think is going to win this match. Not this match, this game specifically. Game number 2 of the match. Tiny Dances on the left. Currently up 1-0. We've got Silver playing the Garrosh. Feldroth playing Zul'jin. Get those pop-ups going. We've got Lydell on the Lucio. Materium going to be playing Jaina, and Elijah on the Arthas. And that is Tiny Dancers over here looking to equalize this score. We've got Tom Peace playing the Leoric. Dim Sum going to be playing the Li Ming. Cambella's on the Cassia. Bummernot on the Johanna. And finally, Fishing Queen on the Ana. Sometimes it takes a moment to figure out which one you haven't said there. Alrighty then, so everything looks pretty much about as I would expect. Wrecking Ball talent there for the Garrosh, so a little bit of a deviation from what they had last game. The Headhunter for Zul'jin. Party Mechs here for Lucio. And there's the throw onto Dim Sum. Li Ming is going to teleport out. Taking a lot of damage there from the cleave from Zul'jin. Fingers of Frost and the Howling Blast. What is that called? Frost Presence from the side of Tiny Dancers. Over here for Boogan Squad, we've got that Iron Skin. Hold your ground. Is that what it? Yeah, hold your ground. Charge strikes. The throw going out on Johanna. She doesn't really care that much about that though, because she's got that hold your ground enabled Iron Skin. We do have the charge strikes from Cassia, which is going to be invaluable on these control points. Going to get just absolutely truckloads of damage, I imagine, when they actually fight over these control points here. We also have the grenade from Ana, getting the additional, ooh, a 50-50 in chat this time. Additional healing for each enemy. Is it? Yeah, okay, for both types of heroes, enemy and allies. Osirian Renewal for Leo, helping him to sustain, and the Power Hungry from Li Ming, looking for those orbs and throw those long bombs into these control points, looking for some big damage. Sitting at just about 2 minutes, neither team has gone to pick up their fortification camp. But sitting at that 2-minute mark, I imagine they'll at least send somebody to pick that up here, as the control point's coming up in 30 seconds. Maybe, maybe not. Johanna getting the slow, and you know, interrupting rotations is not quite as impactful. Like, you have to interrupt them a lot earlier, but each time you do it, it makes them a little bit slower. So the throw on to Johanna once again, big pull into the Blizzard. The Blizzard's on her, so just a little bit more damage there for the Jaina. Let's see how's Jaina doing so far. 879. It's still very early in the game. You don't get a whole lot of stacks on that. She goes into that Arcane Intellect. Oh, you know what? I said Arcane Intellect before. It wasn't Arcane Intellect on that last game. It was the Frost Armor. Now that I think about it. Why does she have Frost Armor? Rainer. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Got it. Alright, well, both teams picking up their fortification camps. The siege camp now also on the table here from Boogan Squad. I would say that overall I felt like Boogan Squad was maybe more on top of camps last game, so we'll see if that continues into this game. Maybe I'm crazy in that, but I feel like that's the case. Johanna being right up in the face of Garrosh, daring him to throw her. And there goes the turret here, and that's going to force Tiny Dancers to pull back. Never mind, they're going to put down their turret and get to a 3-man stun from Garrosh. Bummerknot now popping that iron skin. And it's Tompiece who's going to be up in the front this time. Tiny Dancers all very low, looking for that kill. However, it's going to be onto the Leoric, going a little bit too far in and allowing the Garrosh to throw Leoric, even with his Wraithwalk potential. That stun locking him down, but only a short channel there for Boogan Squad. But because of the fact that they've got a man down who's coming right back onto the map now, and Tiny Dancers being split, they're going to come up here and grab this biotic emitter. Level 7's available now for the side of Tiny Dancers. So they got Boogan Squad's got to be a little bit careful here. Arthas isn't here yet, so they don't have that extra player yet, but here they come. And once again, Bummerknot right up in the face. Wants to be in Garrosh's face so that he can't throw one of her team members. There's the biotic emitter coming out, and now looking for a kill. Kind of surprised we're not seeing him just disengage. Wait this out. Especially with Garrosh brought so very low. And that is going to give the channel back over to the Boogan Squad. So 76% complete for Tiny Dancers. Look at all this XP. Oh no. So guys, okay, so let's talk about this XP change a little bit. So if you have heroes like, and I'm not picking on Jaina, but because she's very good at wave clear, if you have heroes like Jaina or a Gul'dan or somebody who can throw, you know, this big wave of damage out onto minions at a distant range, you have to not, like, you gotta hold it. Because if you can't get the XP, then you just wasted it. Oh my goodness, all this damage coming out. Campbella's popping off, but gets thrown, and that's going to be a kill onto the Cassia here. Still very low health bars coming out on the side of Tiny Dancers, and there's the first kill for Li Ming. Looking for another one. There comes the orb. Is going to get a double kill. The return kill onto the Leoric. And that's going to give Boogan Squad the first protector of the game. So there you go. Let's check in. How much XP are we at right now? So we're just about 20,000. A minion wave is, I'm going to round it off. We're going to call it 500. Okay, so that's essentially 40 minion waves worth of total XP. But really, it's half. So 20 minion waves total. There are 3 at any given point on the map in the middle there. I mean, that's 6 to 7 waves of XP. So losing that whole wave of XP is not insignificant. I mean, that's the difference right now is 2,000 XP, and that's a half a level. So really got to be mindful of those waves. I mean, you do it once and it's a whatever, but we've seen a couple of times now where the XP has been left on the table, and it may very well affect the outcome. I mean, that one wave of XP would put them at level 10 right now. As level 10's here available now for Boogan Squad. They've got that Ball Lightning, the Nano Boost, the Entomb, Blessed Shield, and Li Ming holding on to hers. And we see the Invade coming in here. They get stalled out by the Garrosh, and now I think it's too late. Because here's level 10's for Tiny Dancers. Arthas is going to get put to sleep, but they're just going to obliterate Li Ming. Bummerknot taking a bunch of damage here as Zul'jin just has, like, free reign, does whatever he wants to do here. Going to be a triple kill going the other direction. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, they needed to commit to it, and once Garrosh came in and Arthas slowed them down, they had enough time there to delay it, pick up their level 20s, and that was just a little bit either a lack of awareness about the timing of that level 10 for Tiny Dancers, so that, like, they didn't recognize that it was coming up so quickly, or just too much confidence and not a great place for it. So that gives Tiny Dancers a lot of value. They get the biotic emitter, they get 2 turret camps, not just the 1, but 2 because they got 3 kills out of it, and their XP now up 2/3 of a level. So there you go. Siege camp now picked up here by the side of Tiny Dancers, so that'll be up on the map. And we'll see here. Leoric coming up. We'll see if he's coming up to try to get maybe a flank in Tomb, or if he's just gathering the XP. It looks like it's the XP. Garrosh throwing Johanna in. The Ring of Frost coming out. Li Ming's got the nano boost. The massive guillotine there, getting damage onto both Cassia and Ana. Tompi's right up in here with this Entomb, but not before Johanna falls. And the biotic emitter used, keeping the team alive here. We also have 2 turrets. So all of the equipment on the ground, equalizing the equipment here between these 2 teams. But they got a kill onto Johanna. They got level 13. And so Tiny Dancers now pushing in onto this top lane fort. They do get the well. Oh, and by the way, here comes the Protector, the control point in 1 second. So I talked in game 1 about how Tiny Dancers was getting value each time they got kills, and we're starting to see that, right? The first time they got those 3 kills, they got 2 turrets and biotic emitter. This time they got 1 kill, and they got a fort for it. So we need to see Boogan Squad, if they're going to be able to stay in this game, we're going to need to see them, you know, make it happen. They have to actually get some kills and then get value somewhere. So right now they're making use of the time to pick up some items. They're going to get the 2 fortification camps. Maybe just the 1. Well, they can only get the 1. They don't have enough time otherwise. Somebody's listening. They grabbed that XP that was sitting on the ground there. And there's the 5-man coming out. Johanna getting thrown. Ring of Frost going in onto Li Ming only. Has the nano boost. The big taunt going. And good night. Li Ming just obliterated. The root coming out onto Cassia. And keep in mind, when Cassia's rooted, she doesn't get that physical armor. So Zul'jin just going to town. And Elijah there is going to pop the army. Tompi's, however, going to fall. Not quite able to get the kill onto the Garrosh. So Jaina did fall in there. In trade, the Li Ming and the Leoric. And that should give now the Protector over here to Tiny Dancers. I guess at some point we saw the turret dropped in there, but it died, so I don't know. All right, so Boogan Squad setting up to defend against top just in case they were on their way. They've decided not to do that. And instead make their way to bottom. They got the wall down in mid. Possibly looking to get the well as well, but there's no minions. So, oh, Jaina, good night. The Entomb value there. Now, there's no Entomb for them to get onto the Leoric or the Zul'jin. But all the while, the Protector in the bot lane is getting value, and this sets him up really well for this next control point here. So we need to see this positive trade here. So they get the kill onto Jaina. What can they do with it? And I think ultimately this fort may even go down. Johanna can pop Iron Skin and then pull those 2 in if she can stay close enough. Did not pop the Iron Skin early enough, so she's only able to get the condemn onto the Garrosh. But Li Ming is not going to get thrown. Instead, it's going to be Johanna. She doesn't have the Iron Skin again because she just used it. It does have a shorter cooldown, but it's not quite enough. Needed that Iron Skin about a half a second later. You almost have to predict when that Punisher, or I'm sorry, the Protector is going to die. But if she gets that just a moment earlier, then she's able to get the condemn and then the follow-up punish and Blessed Shield if she had it. I don't know if she did. And then they probably get the kill onto Lucio, if not the Garrosh, maybe both. So Cassie going into a full fend build here, so getting additional damage on low targets, also getting additional range and radius and time. So when she fends, she's doing a lot of damage. Has to be extremely careful about that, though, because, I mean, Garrosh and Arthas, right? And also, I mean, Zul'jin, they got the ability to root, taunt, you know, all that stuff. Garrosh caught into the Entomb, the sound barrier going out. The throw onto Cassia is going to throw her in the back there. Ball Lightning's coming out. The blind onto Arthas, I think it was what that went. Big taunt onto the front line here as Cassia already down. And the Drain Life coming out is draining Arthas, but they can disengage. They killed the Cassia. And now they can come up here and clean up in the top lane. Tiny Dancer's doing a really good job of identifying, you know, their point to exit, right? When they no longer need to keep pushing. Sometimes maybe they could get a kill or not, but, you know, they expose the rest of their team to risk in that scenario. Right? How many times do you have a fight where you're like, hey, great, we killed somebody, and you're like, cool, now it's a 5v4, except that it's a 5v4 and maybe you don't have all of your abilities, maybe you don't have your heroics, and the enemy team now, maybe they have an advantage because of that. Garrosh being very patient, gets the throw. However, the Wraith Walk coming out just in time to prevent that stun. The taunt, however, the root, and Tompi's barely staying alive, but is ultimately going to fall. The biotic emitter coming out, Cassia the next to fall, but there's the kill onto Arthas. Going to enable some resets here, but Zul'jin getting so many kills, and now Li Ming going to get thrown here. Doesn't have a whole lot of health. Is that a glass cannon, Li Ming? It sure is. Going into Fireflies at level 16 as well. That's not a common pickup, and I think it's I would think that's more commonly used with the level 1 Aetherwalker or not Charge Strikes, that's Cassia, but the level 13, whatever it's called, the one that every time you use an ability it adds to your next auto attack. Now I do wonder, how much damage does Zul'jin's guillotine do? 696. And it increases in damage over time. So I'm interested to see how much health Li Ming has, because with Glass Cannon it reduces her health. Wouldn't surprise me if it was enough to basically one-shot her if he was low enough. Let's take a look. 2100, so probably not. Probably not a one-shot, but certainly with any follow-up, like a cleave and an auto attack, I bet that would kill her. Especially if she's going to get rid of it. But there's the siege camp up top here. Blind coming in, the sleep onto Garrosh here. Elijah deep into the back there, but is going to fall. And Lydell making it out on the Lucio, and Tomb coming in. Johanna very low here, as well as Tompies. And Tompies may fall, does in fact fall. And Zul'jin's going to get the kill onto Johanna, but Jaina going to die as well to the Ana. This is not looking good, though, as Cassia getting caught as well. This is a 4 for 2 trades so far. Make it 5 for 2, I assume, that they're going to chase down this Ana. And that's going to be a Protector going over to Tiny Dancers, along with level 20. And I think that they throw... I think they let Zul'jin out, which is what they're doing, and they put Garrosh in there, and then they go win the video game. That's what this looks like to me. So we'll see. First tower down, second tower down. Felderoth, I think, using Amani Rage. But this keep is going to go down. Johanna will be back on the map, as will Li Ming. So, I mean, Li Ming does a lot of damage, and she should be able to hit that Protector pretty easily. Oh, can they get this kill onto Zul'jin? That would be absolutely stellar if they can. It doesn't look like it, though. Keep in mind, Zul'jin has this level 20, so he's getting the additional regeneration here. Pretty much whenever he wants. And Li Ming, there's that combo I was just talking about. The core down to 40%, a taunt coming out. They're looking for this kill. They got the sound barrier now. Jaina making her way in, but Zul'jin just going ham, getting the kill onto Johanna as well. The core sitting at 25%. Cambella's will be the next. Now it looks like that's going to be game, as Leoric finishing his quest just in time for the core to fall. right, gonna go ahead and hop into a lobby so that I can get set up for this interview. As we show the stats and then the talents for you here. We'll get Feldroth here in just a moment.
Hello, hello.
Well, hello there. How you doing, buddy?
Going well. Long time to talk.
Yeah, no doubt. So, welcome to the winner circle, or otherwise known as Lobby 5. Congratulations, 2-0 victory. Got to feel pretty good after that setup.
Yeah, absolutely. We feel great.
So, how's your? Let's start off. Let's talk about your season a little bit. So, how are things going for you this season so far, and how are you feeling about the team?
Well, this is really only our second real game. The first one we played, unfortunately, was a forfeit because the other team couldn't field their full 5. So we scrimmed a little bit and played some stuff we wanted to test out. Figured it was a good opportunity to. Then the match that we played last week, we lost 2-1. So we were like getting our feet under us, I think, just really getting used to a new season, and then we have focused on the last 2 weeks really practicing what we feel like we were weak in, and then executed it tonight, and it went pretty well. So.
Well, it looked pretty polished, I talked a little bit about the teams at the beginning, and I couldn't remember. It's been a while since we talked, so I couldn't remember the full history of your team. But this is a group of people that you've played with for a fair bit, but had a bit of a break with, right?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of a sad story. We were playing about 3 seasons ago at the end of 2018, and 2 of the people that are on this team were on that original 5-man team. And we were going to play again season after season, and then one of our team members actually passed away, and we were all pretty crushed, and we took a break from the game for a little while, and then we finally, we like 3 seasons is enough of a break. We got to get back into NGS. It's the most fun way to play the game. So we got back in this season, have 2 new guys that are awesome, and we're having a good time. So
great. Well, you know what? What would be the best possible remembrance than to do well in this NGS season and find yourself in a playoff spot, and who knows from there, right?
Yeah, that's right. We got to do all for that guy. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are back in it. Obviously, Feldroth played with Regen Phoenix briefly last season, at the end of the season. I don't think we ever got you into a match. We did get you into one,
It was
I think.
one match where there was
yeah.
some errors, but it was fun anyway, so.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So talking about tonight, so you guys played on their maps all night, on Infernal Shrines, then Volskaya Foundry. Obviously, there was a little bit of a challenge at the beginning of Game 1, getting everybody seated in their chairs,
Right.
and sticking around. But there were some call-outs about the target bans. Obviously, that Kel'Thuzad, we saw the reason why on the Zul'jin, and then ultimately onto the Alarak. So do they just not like you? Is this history that they're familiar with? Is this just that you play 500 games on Kel'Thuzad and you're like level 250? Like, how did this come about?
So I play a lot of Kel'Thuzad, but I'm actually not the target ban in our team for Kel'Thuzad. One of our other team members plays a lot of Kel'Thuzad really well, and then I'm obviously the Zul'jin player. We were kind of like, well, obviously we love these characters and we'd love to get them in games, but they're going to get banned out all the time. So we have to have a hero pool that's diverse enough, at least for that first pick danger zone, that it kind of creates that decision gate situation where they have to pick. Which is the lesser of the evils we are going to be faced with in just a second. So that's actually one of the things that we went into this game with. We're like, all right, well, we have our strategy. We know what it is going into the front end. We're going to force them to choose between a bunch of bad decisions. And we're going to pick someone we're comfortable on at the end of the day. So that ended up happening. We played Alarak the first time. Obviously, he's not fun to play against. We all know this. So they're like, well, I guess we don't want to play against the Alarak the second time, and I was 100% fine to first pick the Zul'jin. So. Sure.
Well, and it worked out well for you guys. It especially works out well when you're going into a glass cannon Li Ming, who you can get a ensnare. I think that's his level 13.
Yeah.
And then you just delete Li Ming from the game and move on with your day, right?
Yeah, that did happen at the end there. I can do that with a lot of characters in the game. I got turned on a little bit earlier, which is always a good sign with this guy, and we play that kind of map knowing that it's going to be a long-term fight. So just play towards the end, and we did, and it worked out. So the ensnare is a little bit different from the way a lot of people play Zul'jin, but it lets me get that full combo off, and it's pretty scary. So that's why I was a little fine with the blinds. It doesn't really matter. They think it's going to counter me, and I can just not auto attack for a little while, and I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, you certainly have other options with the cleaves and obviously your guillotine. You know, in that first game, it seemed like very much the game itself. If you eliminate structures, if you just pretend that those don't exist as a quantifiable trait. The game itself seemed to be very balanced. Kills, I think, were almost identical. You know, for almost all the games. Sometimes you guys would get a couple kills, sometimes they would get a couple kills. But it seemed like every time that you guys got some kills, you also got something out of it. So, you know, obviously you guys have played a fair bit. You have these new members on your team. So how coordinated do you feel things are in your communication with your team to be able to make those things work?
We're getting there. I mean, coordination and really understanding intuitively what your teammate's going to do is a huge part of being in a group with other people that you play with often. So we're definitely getting to that point, we all feel, and it's I mean, to speak to us dying, them dying, and then us getting more out of it when we die, I really see this game as a game of mitigating risk. And if you can accept the risk of taking engagement when you know that you have minimal things to lose, and everything to gain, then you can control when those go against you and when they go for you. So, you know,
I love that you said that, because in the second game, around the mid fort, you guys got a kill. I don't remember who it was on. It was on a single player, and I was talking about it, and I was like, this is very good of them to stop and say, you know what, we don't have to keep going in. We don't need to play into this. It becomes riskier for us. There are other variables we can't necessarily control. Let's go get this other thing. I think you went to the support camp or whatever you did, but you know, so identifying that and also, you know, letting everybody out there know, like, you have to consider that risk is absolutely phenomenal. And you know, you don't always have to play a brawl, right? You don't always have to go into the enemy team every time you happen to see them.
Right, for sure.
So I did want to mention, so Garrosh, couple of different builds there between each game there. That's Silver playing that. Some talents that we don't see a whole lot of, like going into the Bloodthirst cooldown reduction instead of Indomitable. Like, Indomitable is probably like a 90+% selection. The auto attack slow on Groundbreaker. I think there was a spell power reduction on game 2. So a lot of flexibility onto this kind of what would normally be a standard build for Garrosh. So, like, does Silver just like to just throw things out and just say, hey, I'm doing it my way? Like, what? Like, tell me about that, or what you know. Obviously,
no, it's one of those things where the characters that we are ever-growing character pool of tunes that we really believe we understand and have our head wrapped around are never as black and white as a meta pick. And obviously, those picks are normally the best in the most situations, but he's just really good at playing that character, and the others he has in his kit, and understanding when he's going to get some unexpected value by picking some off picks. And that's another thing. I think, like I was talking about the ensnare with Zul'jin and a lot of the picks that he goes with Garrosh, they're unexpected picks, so people play as if they're going to pick the 90% pick talent, right? So if people are playing and into that expectation and you go something else, it takes them by surprise, and they respond in a less than optimal time, and we capitalize on it. So it works out pretty well.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I picked up Blaze as a main tank in an off-season event, and let me tell you, I absolutely love him. He's so much fun to play. But doing some research, I started like finding some talents that I liked more than what seemed to be the common picks, and I'm starting to see some of those talents coming into the more common picks now. And
Dude,
I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but it's interesting to be like out on the forefront of that. Like, hey, this is a great talent. People aren't taking it, and then people start to see it, or they make that same connection about how quality it is. So it is fun to see how you know, characters evolve like that, and especially in a game that's not as heavily supported as it has been in the past by Blizzard.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think that, like, for instance, one of those talents is the auto attack slow on Blaze. I think it's really underrated, and he's a great auto attack counter. And a lot of other talents he's got are really great. I feel the same way you do about Blaze with Zul'jin. I played him when he was very, very unpopular, and when Tazdingo was the only talent that you should ever pick, and I never picked Tazdingo. I think I picked it once in all of my play with him, and I have a 0% win rate on it.
There you go. See?
So never again. But I mean, it has its place like everything else. But I play in my way, and it's been very different. But I've seen that shift in adaptation to that direction of playstyle with him, and it's been a neat transition. And also one I'm a little sad about, because I liked it when I was the only one who knew to do that. So
right. Well, good deal. Well, let's go ahead and get things wrapped up here. I always like to ask what about a moment in the game that you found particularly enjoyable, whether it was something you or your team did, or even something that your opponents did. What was a good highlight for you?
Yeah, I think one of my favorite moments was in the Volskaya. I think was it Volskaya game when we ran into their team. No, it was not. It was on Infernal Shrines. Garrosh ran in, and we took a fight on their camp on their side, and we knew it was risky, but we knew they just used all their ults, and we're like, this is a good spot. We've still got a bunch of bars, and we had Jaina with a ring, so let's fight in a small space. So we ran in, and Garrosh just walked right past everybody and got the throws, and then died immediately because he was low health, and we ended up taking 4 of their team, or 3 of them, and we were all just laughing, and the healer was like, why'd you do that? He was like, I was planning on it. I was kamikazeing. He's like, okay, but I can't heal you that much. He's like, I know. And we were all just dying laughing in the background. So having a grand old time. It was good. Calculated risks all day, and a fun time at the end of the day. So.
Awesome. Yeah, and those are the fun plays, right? That's why I like to ask about them, because you know, certainly some of those things do get highlighted on the cast, some of them don't, and sometimes it's like, it could be just a mundane basic play where, oh yeah, so we got the kill onto such and such, but the everything else that surrounded that moment, like you were just talking about, the fun and joking around with your team is really what makes it a highlight. So I'm glad to hear that. That being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Any shout outs you'd like to make? Absolutely. Shout out to my team, all our families that are put up with us practicing and playing on nights. Especially when they're earlier in the day. And also, of course, a shout out to Goulet, who was our team member those seasons ago. He's why we're called Tiny Dancers, because we always sang when we were playing together in the middle of matches. So a lot of fun times. A big shout out to him, and big shout out to you for casting us. We appreciate it. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Felderoth. I appreciate you joining me tonight. Again, congratulations. Don't forget to report your game, your match. I will do that. I'm incentivized to. Yeah, no doubt, right? All right. Yep. Have a good night. Thanks. You too. Bye. All right, everybody. So that's going to wrap us up for tonight. So, you know what? I thought I had a ticker on this screen. Apparently, I don't. So I'll go back to the other one that does have the ticker so that you can see that here. But a couple of games coming up tonight here. So, and they're all cast. Every single one of them. So depending on what you're interested in, you can catch, let's see, you can catch the Division D game between Ghosts of Yavapai County and a bunch of other letters versus Bloodfin Murgles. That's going to be over on twitch.tv/DNL_Shadonis. You can catch another Div D match, Randy Newman versus Bloodbath and Beyond, over at twitch.tv/Nexus Commentaries. Both of those are at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. At 10:30, Soak Every Lane versus Lurk Patrol. That's a Division B West game. That's going to be over at RavenX at twitch.tv/RavenX, RAYVENX. Or at 11 o'clock, you can catch The Late Show, Better Than Bots versus Arrogant Nephilim. That's going to be a C West matchup. And you can catch that with Moist Weenus, twitch.tv/Moist Weenus at 11 p.m. So if you didn't catch any of that, you can certainly just go over to the Hype channel in the NGS Discord, or go to the NGS website where the calendar will show all of that and also provide you links to those pages. So thanks again for joining me tonight. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you hit the follow button so that you get notified of when these casts are going live, because they happen fairly often now. And yeah, have a great night, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show.